Originally, I was going to read I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings by Maya Angelou, but unfortunately I forgot my book. Mine wasn't really there this morning, had a big test. So I'm just going to read Bridge to Terabithia. Great book, great movie. And I did a little research just now. One of the reasons why it was banned is because there's no parental guidance over the child, and also at the end, whenever he is alone with his teacher, they said that it was a little inappropriate. So that's what I just read. So I'm going to read chapter 5. It's called The Giant Killers. Leslie liked to make up stories about the giants that threatened the peace of Terabithia, but they both knew that the real giant in their lives was Janice Avery. Of course, it wasn't only Jess and Leslie that she was after. She had two friends, Wilma Dean and Bobby Sue Henshaw, who were almost as big as she was, and the three of them would roam the playground, grabbing up hopscotch rocks, running through jump ropes, and laughing while second graders screamed. They would even stand outside the girls' room first thing every morning and make the little girls give them their milk money before they'd let them go to the bathroom. Mary Bell, unfortunately, was a slow learner. Her daddy had brought her a package of Twinkies, and she was so proud that as soon as she got on the bus, she forgot everything she knew and yelled to another first grader, "Guess what I got in my lunch today, Billie Jean?" "What?" "Twinkies," she shouted so loud you could have heard her in the back seat, even if you were deaf in both ears. Out of the corner of his eye, Jess thought she saw Janice Avery perk up. When they sat down, Maybelle was still screeching about her dadgum Twinkies over the roar of the motor. "My daddy brung 'em up to me from Washington." Jess threw another look at the back seat. "You better shut up about those dang Twinkies," he said in her ear. "You just jealous 'cause daddy didn't bring you none." "Okay." He shrugged across her head at Leslie to say, "I warned her, didn't I?" And Leslie nodded back. Neither of them was too surprised to see Maybelle come screaming toward them at recess time. "She stole my Twinkies." Jess sighed. "Maybelle, didn't I tell you? You gotta kill Janice Avery. Kill her. Kill her. Kill her." "Shh," Leslie said, stroking Maybelle's head, but Maybelle didn't want comfort. She wanted revenge. "You gotta beat her up into a million pieces." He'd sooner tangle with Miss Godzilla herself. Fighting ain't gonna get anything back. "Maybelle, them Twinkies is well on the way to patting Janice Avery's bottom by now." Leslie snickered, but Maybelle was not to be distracted. "You're just yeller, Jessie Aarons. If you wasn't yeller, you'd beat somebody up if they took your little sister's Twinkies." She broke into a fresh round of sobbing. Jess stiffened. He avoided Leslie's eyes. Lord, there was no escape. He'd have to fight the female gorilla now. "Look, Maybelle," Leslie was saying, "if Jess picks a fight with Janice Avery, you know perfectly well what will happen." Maybelle wiped her nose on the back of her hand. "She'll beat him up." "No, he'll get kicked out of school for fighting a girl. You know how Mr. Turner is about boys who pick on girls." "She stole my Twinkies." "I know she did, Maybelle, and Jess and I are going to figure out a way to pay her back for it. Aren't we, Jess?" He nodded vigorously. Anything was better than promising to fight Janice Avery. "What's she gonna do?" "I don't know yet. We'll have to plan it out very carefully, but I promise you, Maybelle, we'll get her." "Cross your heart and hope to die?" Leslie solemnly crossed her heart. Maybelle turned expectantly to Jess, so he crossed his too, trying hard not to feel like a fool, crossing his heart to a first grader in the middle of the playground. Maybelle snuffled loudly. "It isn't as good as seeing her beaten to a million pieces." "No," said Leslie. "I'm sure it isn't, but with Mr. Turner running the school, it's the best we can do. Right, Jess?" "Right." That afternoon, crouched in the stronghold of Terabithia, they held a council of war. How to get Janice Avery without ending up squashed or suspended. That was their problem. Maybe we could get her caught doing something. Leslie was trying out another idea after they had both rejected putting honey on her bus seat and glue in her hand lotion. You know she smokes in the girls' room. If we could just get Mr. Turner to walk past while the smoke is pouring out. Jess shook his head hopelessly. It wouldn't take her 5 minutes to find out who squawked. There was a moment of silence while they both considered what Janice Avery might do to anyone who reported her to the principal. We gotta get her without her knowing who done it. Yeah. Leslie chewed away at a dried apricot. You know what girls like Janice hate most? What? Being made a fool of. Just remembered how Janice had looked the day he made everyone laugh at her on the bus. Leslie was right. There was a crack in the old hippo hide. Yeah. He nodded, beginning to smile. Yeah. Do we get her about being fat? How about, Leslie began slowly, how about boys? Who's she stuck on? Willard Hughes, I reckon. Every girl in the 7th grade slides to the ground when he walks by. Yeah, Leslie's eyes were shining. Then plan came all in a rush. We write her a note, you see, and pretend it's from Willard. Jess was already getting a pencil from the can and yanking a piece of notebook paper out from under a rock. He handed them to Leslie. No, you write. My handwriting is too good for Willard Hughes. He got set and waited. Okay, she said. Dear Janice. No, dearest Janice. Jess hesitated, doubtful. Believe me, Jess, she'll eat it up. Okay, dearest Janice. Don't worry about punctuation or anything. We'll have to make it look as if Willard Hughes really wrote it, okay? Dearest Janice, maybe you won't believe me, but I love you. You think she'll, he asked as he wrote it down. I told you she'll eat it up. Girls like Janice Avery believe just what they want to in this kind of situation. Okay, now, if you say you do not love me, it will break my heart. So please don't. If you love me as much as I love you, my darling, hold it. I can't write that fast. Leslie waited, and when he looked up, she continued in a moony voice. Meet me behind the school this afternoon after school. Do not worry about missing your bus. I want to walk home with you and talk to you about us. Put us in capitals, my darling. Loves and kisses, Willard Hughes. Kisses? Yeah, kisses. Put a row of little X's in there too. She paused, looking over his shoulder while he finished. Oh yes, put P.S. He did. Do not tell anybody. Do not tell nobody. Let our love be a secret for only us two right now. What should put that in? So she'll be sure to tell somebody stupid. Leslie reread the note, nodding approval. Good. You misspelled believe and to. She studied it a minute longer. Gee, I'm pretty good at this. Sure, you probably had some big secret love down in Arlington. Jess Aarons, I'm going to kill you. Hey girl, you killed the king of Terabithia and you're in trouble. Regicide, she said proudly. Regit what? Did I ever tell you the story of Hamlet? He rolled over on his back. Not yet, he said happily. Lord, he loved Leslie's stories. Someday, when he was good enough, he would ask her to write them in a book and let him do all the pictures. Well, she began. There was once a prince of Denmark named Hamlet. In his head, he drew a shadowy castle with the tortured prince pacing the parapets. He could make a ghost come out of the fog. Crayons wouldn't do it, of course, but with paints, you could put one thin color on top of another so that you would begin to see a pale figure moving from deep inside the paper. He began to shiver. He knew he could do it if Leslie would let him use her paints.
Thank you. Thank you very much.